In a distant future where humanity's existence was but a footnote in the vast annals of galactic history, Earth had become little more than an obscure outpost on the edge of known space. The galaxy was ruled by ancient empires and technologically superior species who viewed humans as primitive and unworthy of attention. However, this perception would soon change when one man turned human ingenuity into something no alien force could anticipate. Cale Draven was not born to be extraordinary. He grew up in the shadow of towering orbital stations that loomed over his small town like mechanical gods. His world was filled with stories of legendary warriors from other species, beings whose names were whispered with awe across star systems. They were trained killers, bred for combat since birth, their feats immortalized in holographic archives. Cale often found himself staring at those records, marveling at how effortlessly these beings dispatched their foes. Yet what fascinated him most wasn't their prowess. It was the system they used to measure success. Asterisk, the kill count asterisk. Kill counts weren't just numbers. They represented status, skill, and dominance. For centuries, no human had ever appeared on any galactic leaderboard. To many aliens, humanity's lack of representation was proof of its irrelevance. But Cale saw it differently. What if humans didn't need centuries of genetic engineering or advanced technology? What if all they needed was training? It started as a hobby, a way to pass time between shifts at the scrapyard where he worked. Using salvage parts, Cale built rudimentary simulation pods capable of mimicking battles against virtual enemies based on real alien species. At first, his creations were crude, barely functional. The word spread among his peers, and soon others joined him, eager to test their mettle. Together, they refined the simulations, adding layers of complexity until they felt almost lifelike. One day, while scavenging through piles of discarded tech, Cale stumbled upon an old military-grade AI core. It was damaged but still operational. After months of tinkering, he managed to integrate it into his system. The AI, which he named Echo, became the backbone of his project. Echo analyzed every move made during simulations, offering feedback so precise it transformed even the clumsiest fighter into a competent warrior. Word of Cale's work reached beyond his hometown. People traveled from neighboring settlements to train under his guidance. Some came out of curiosity, others sought purpose in a universe that seemed determined to ignore them. Under Cale's leadership, they formed a loose collective called the Forge, dedicated to honing their skills and proving humanity's worth. But Cale knew simulations alone wouldn't cut it. If humanity wanted respect, it had to step onto the galactic stage and survive. Years passed and rumors began circulating about rogue human fighters disrupting pirate raids along trade routes. These accounts caught the attention of the Galactic Defense Coalition, GDC, an alliance of powerful species responsible for maintaining order across the stars. Intrigued yet skeptical, the GDC dispatched a reconnaissance team to investigate. What they found shocked them. Humans, armed with nothing more than scavenged weapons and sheer determination, were holding their own against seasoned mercenaries. Their tactics were unconventional, chaotic, even, but effective. Instead of relying on brute strength or superior firepower, they adapted to each situation with uncanny speed, exploiting weaknesses their opponents didn't know they had. And leading them was Cale Draven, now known simply as the Trainer. The GDC decided to take action. A representative fleet arrived in Earth's orbit, demanding an audience with Cale. When he stepped aboard their flagship, flanked by members of the Forge, the assembled officers regarded him with a mix of disdain and fascination. "You've caused quite a stir," said Commander Vera, a towering reptilian figure with iridescent scales. Her voice carried both authority and skepticism. "Your kind has never shown such initiative before." Cale met her gaze without flinching. "We're done being overlooked," he replied calmly. "If you want us to stop interfering, give us a reason to stand down." Vera studied him for a long moment before speaking again. "Very well, prove your worth. Join our upcoming War Games, a competition designed to evaluate the capabilities of various species. Survive, and perhaps we'll reconsider your place in the galaxy." Cale nodded. "We'll be there." The War Games took place on Jarus IV, a barren moon used exclusively for combat trials. Representatives from dozens of species gathered, each eager to showcase their superiority. Humans were assigned to the lowest tier, pitted against groups considered expendable. No one expected them to last more than a few minutes. They were wrong. From the outset, Kale's team demonstrated unparalleled adaptability. Where other competitors relied on rigid strategies, the Forge thrived on improvisation. They turned the environment itself into a weapon, using terrain to ambush enemies and lure them into traps. Echo's algorithms allowed them to predict enemy movements with eerie accuracy, giving them a decisive edge. As the rounds progressed, the challenges grew more intense. Entire squads fell to overwhelming odds, yet Kale's group pressed on, refusing to yield. By the final round, they stood alone against the reigning champions, the Vorthak, a race renowned for their disciplined warriors and unmatched ferocity. The arena erupted into chaos as the two sides clashed. Blades flashed, plasma bolts seared the air, and bodies hit the ground in rapid succession. The Vorthak fought with brutal efficiency, but Kale's team countered with relentless creativity. One member feigned injury to draw attackers into a killing zone, while another rigged a collapsing structure to bury pursuing enemies. Every move was calculated, every sacrifice meaningful. When the dust settled, only 3 humans remained standing, including Kale. Opposite them, a single Vorthak warrior knelt, battered but defiant. With a nod of mutual respect, Kale extended a hand to help him up. The gesture stunned the crowd, earning murmurs of approval from even the harshest critics. Back aboard the GDC flagship, Commander Vera addressed Kale once more. This time her tone carried a hint of admiration. "You've earned our attention," she said. "Not because you won, but because you proved that strength isn't defined by biology or technology, it's defined by will." Kale smiled faintly. "Then maybe it's time you start treating us as equals." Vera hesitated, then inclined her head. "Perhaps. But remember this. Actions speak louder than words. Continue to impress us, and humanity may yet find its place among the stars." As Kale returned to Earth, he knew the journey was far from over. The Forge had shattered stereotypes and opened doors previously closed to humanity. But true acceptance required more than victories in mock battles. It demanded consistent excellence and unyielding resolve. And Kale Draven intended to deliver both. For the first time in history, humanity's name echoed across the galaxy, not as victims or bystanders, but as contenders.